I want to talk to you about like my experience that I'm going through right now. Like I just don't, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. So you're probably going to be like, hey, why is Mo freaking out about this? But it's pissing me off in the sense that I think it goes beyond dating. I think it goes into parts of just being able to like communicate and being very transparent and respectful to people. I think there's a level of like disrespect now with dating. Like ghosting someone, I get it. Like I've done it before. I'm not gonna sit here sitting all self-righteous saying I've never done it. I've done it, of course, many times. But I think there's a level of disrespect now where you tell a person that you're interested, you tell a person that you want to pursue, and you give them a lot of chances to let you know otherwise if they don't want to hang out or do anything, but they continue to tell you that they do, and then they do a complete U-turn on you, and it just goes blank. It just goes crickets. And to me, it's like, okay, cool, you can do that. You're not obligated to respond to me, but like from the get-go, you should have just told me, yo, I'm not really down. I'm not that interested. There's a lot of shit going on with my life. Cool. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not that serious. If you told me that, I would have been way better with just thinking, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, is this like some sort of game? Is this some sort of like power dynamic thing going on? Like, what's, that's the shit that pisses me off, dude. And it's just like the bar is so low now with dating. The bar is so low with, I just want you to be honest. Like, I just want you to be like, yo,
100%.
I'm down to hang out with you. And even that, I'm kind of like, okay, are you really? Like, I'm just so skeptical now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And I think, like we said, it's being transparent, having integrity, and saying what you want and what you mean. And what I see a lot of people, especially in the dating scene, is they say something, but it doesn't mean nothing to them. It's just so casual. And I think we're talking earlier about how women want high-value men and we want high-value women. Well, what does high value really mean? And it's not money. It's not the cars. It's not the house. It's really, do you own what you say? Do you have responsibility? Do you take ownership of your life? Do you have standards? Do you know what you want? And I think I've always talked about the 5 F's, and that's your faith, your family, your fitness, your finance, and fun. Is if you can have all 5 of those things, I think it's good. Like, that's a good high value person. And from a high value woman standpoint, they always say, oh, I want a high value man. And I always go like, in order for you to have a high value man or a men, are you high value yourself? Like, what are your values? How's your character? And yes, we look at your physical looks, but that only goes so far. Eventually, we're going to dig deep and go like, okay, what are your values? Do you have integrity? Do you keep your word? Are you transparent with us? So with you, I've been through that before, where you go on a date and they seem like they're interested and they tell you they want to hang out again, but their actions are not congruent with what they want. So I feel like in today's modern dating culture, I think people just have commitment problems. They're not willing to commit.
Yeah, dude. I think that's a huge part of it. But I think also too, though, with like the 5 F's that you just mentioned, like, I think that they could have the 5 F's, but it still doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be transparent and honest and be willing to commit. Like, those two can be mutually exclusive, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, It doesn't, like, yeah, you have faith, yeah, you have fitness, yeah, you have your financials in check, you got all your ducks in a row, but you can still be a goof and not reply. You can still be disrespectful and just completely ghost someone after telling them that you're into them and you want to pursue things and see where they're going. Like, I don't think those two go hand in hand, really. They can, because it just shows that, you're very principled and you have a lot of like structure in your life when you have your 5 F's in a row, but I don't think it.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm kind of like, okay, well, I don't even know. Like, someone could be perfect, like exhibit A, everything you just said, but then completely be able to not be real. And
So Let me ask you, let me have a rebuttal for that, or a question for you is, why do you think that is? And the thing that pops up to in my mind is, I think we just have like a really big hookup culture. Not only that is, I think that we stop settling and we're always looking for something better, and we want to keep our options open. And maybe it's our upbringing, maybe it's what we see in the social media, maybe it's just, divorce rates are like the highest it's ever been. I think I read somewhere like 55% of couples, they'll go through a divorce in their lifetime. Well, back in my parents' generation, that doesn't happen. They're sticking it through. They're working it out. They're communicating. And what I find, this is the biggest mistake that I see, just from a dating standpoint. It's when you have an issue with your partner, you don't actually talk to your partner about the issue. You talk to your own friends about the issue. That could be the dumbest thing that you could possibly do, because now you'll talk to your friends. Your friends are going to be on your side no matter what. They're going to tell you, oh yeah, he's not good. You can do better. There's that guy over there makes more money. Go for that guy. So it's so messed up.
It's really messed up, man. And like, there's a new trend going on. I don't know if you've seen it. It's more of in the younger generation, like early 20s and whatnot. But it's on TikTok. There's like this whole like trend going on with where women talk about their hate towards men and how men need to be doing the blue jobs for women now. And for example, changing a tire on a fucking car on the side of a street. Like, okay, cool. Like, but like to highlight it now and like be like, this is what a guy needs to do. They need to be doing the dirty work. They need to be doing the rough tumbling shit, and it's like a war now between the both genders, where it's like no one can really trust each other, and now it's sort of a brand, like a mainstream trend to hate on guys and be like I've seen these things like 2025 Wrapped went on 3 situationships, 2 first dates, 5 ghosted, and 1 ex hitting me up. Like, it's like a cool like little thing to do now. Like, there's so many layers to this now that
Dude, if I ever saw someone post that on a reel or on their social media, that is someone I stay far away from. I just go like, that's what you're posting? That's what you're talking about? Like, why don't you work on yourself? Right? Like, why don't you work on being a better person and working on yourself and working on your mindset and your communication and your fitness and your finance? Because if you want to attract better people in your life, I've always said, you don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. So if you're going through 5 situationships and ex hitting you up and this and that, well, that's the stuff that you're attracting into your own life. Maybe you should self-reflect and build yourself so then you can become more attractive to better people. So then you're not in that same circle all the time. So
let me ask you this. What's the biggest indication or sign that a girl has a lot of baggage and a lot of things that they need to go through? Like, is there like, because I have mine. For me, it's when they talk about their family and their family history and their family dynamic. From that, I can kind of see the rumblings of, oh, she's a bit of a disaster and she's got a lot of things going on, which is fine. Like, everyone has family history, but when it runs deep, like, is there something that they say or something within their past that they've told you that makes you go, oh, your spidey senses start tingling and going, okay, that's something I need to look out for? Or,
yeah, I think what you said about family was a big one. I would say that's probably a good indicator, because if you come from a broken family, and when you come from a broken family, that's all you know, right? If you were raised by a single mother, as an example, and she tells you, you don't need men, count on yourself, depend on yourself, have your guard up. What I've noticed is they just don't know how to build a family environment or a culture, or their upbringing is a little bit different. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's something that you had to deal with in your past. Maybe you still have trauma from your upbringing, but you've never healed from it. You never grew from it. You never asked questions about it. And then you bring that into your relationships, your current relationships. And that's how you think how it's supposed to be, but it's actually not. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's actually a good indicator of someone that brings a red flag, is when they talk about their family and things start to not align with what you want or how you were raised. And then the question would be, is it someone, and do they have all the other things? If they do, then we could work with that and be like, okay, well, that's not really how my family was raised. This is how I think it should be. What do you think about it? And I've always believed that when you're having a conversation, you got to bring logical points, right? Use your head, logical points. Then use your heart, which is, what does it mean to you? How does it make you feel? And then how your hand is, what can we do together to move the process forward, if we want to move the process forward? If you don't fix these core values or these fundamental things that we need to work on, you're never going to develop a good structural foundation for a relationship. And I see that a lot of people, they're just kind of jumping and there's monkey branching from guy to guy, or girl to girl, or girl to girl, or guy to guy. And they never really work on themselves. And if you don't know yourself, I've always believed that if you're not happy on your own, you won't be happy with somebody else in your life. Right. And if you're not bringing peace to your partner, well, what's the point? Like, I don't want to be I don't want freaking drama in my life. I already have a lot of that. Yeah, we want peace in our life, right? So, yeah.
And to your point, man, like when you see someone going from guy to guy or whatever, like if you were to like psychoanalyze their history and look at what they've been through and like their family dynamic, you would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense why you're doing that, right? Like the paper trail that leads to this person doing all those things, cheating on their partner, being promiscuous, being toxic. It's like, well, okay, looking back on your history, no wonder it's stemmed from that. Like it's a mere, reflection of your past and your experiences.
Yeah, we see that all the time with even our friends that they can never, they're just jumping from relationship to relationship. It's because they never healed. They never worked on themselves. They never develop the capacity or their values or what they really want in their lives, right? What do you really want? Have you ever asked, I've always asked people, do you ever think about what you think about? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you ever think about what you actually want in your life? Who you want to be with? What your partner sounds or looks like? And they're like, no, I'm just kind of going with the flow. And I'm like, well, if you go with the flow, you're never going to have freaking clarity with your life. You're never going to have clarity with your partners. You're never going to have clarity in anything. So when that happens, that does leave clues, and that has track record. So that is a big red flag to me, is to go like, oh no, you told me this story before, and now you're doing the same thing to me. Then I'm just have my guard up a little bit more. Right.
Yeah, I think you got to be like to that point, man. Like you got to be very calculated with who you want to be. Like you got to look at their history and be like, okay, like, do I want this girl's mom to be my mother-in-law? Do I want want my kids to have my significant other's mom as their grandmother? Like you got to think of it as like a 10, 20 year period. It's not like, oh, she's really good looking. Holy shit. She has a job. She's doing well. That's it. Like you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, does she have a history of mental illness? Does she have a good relationship and history with her siblings? Like father, that says a father, right? Like,
so true. Actually, what you said was really good. Is what I want about my mom or dad and what they think, and our parents typically have a good gut reaction, or they just know. Like they just know if someone is for you or not for you kind of thing. And sometimes I forget about that, right? And I've always said you're the biggest burden to your parents. Like we are the biggest burdens to our mom or dad or our family. And what I mean by that is our parents want to see us be happy. They want us to be in a great relationship. They want us to be successful. They want us to be healthy. And the more we put off on becoming financially secure, the more we start messing around or dicking around and not accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish, we're a burden. So when I think about what you just said about what I want my kids to be with with my mother-in-law, I go like, oh, that's a really good point. And I go like, most of the time the answer would be no. Then I go like, oh, that's good, man. I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna think about that one now. That's good.
Yeah. Or just
So
even
true.
like even this the sibling of the girl you're with, like, do I want this to be my brother-in-law or my
Yes.
sister-in-law? You know what I mean? Like you're marrying into the family, and that's kind of how I'm thinking about things too now. And
Yeah.
but you know what, man? It's crazy with women, bro. Fuck. My therapist told me this.
You're heartbroken, aren't you?
I'm not heartbroken, bro. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. And I think this is cynical to say, but I'm just going to go moving forward with no expectation from anyone, bro. None. I don't expect shit. Like, I don't expect you to ever text me back after anything. Like, that's how low the bar is for me at this point. If you decide to, I'll say it this way. If we set up a date to hang out and you don't show up to the date for whatever reason, I'm gonna really try to convince myself that I'm not surprised that happened. I won't believe it until it happens. Not a second before, until you get to the date. Like, that's how disappointed and discouraged I am from it, honestly. Like,
Well, if there's a message to all the girls out there, just say what you want and do what you say. Like, it'll make our lives so much easier. It'll make your lives easier. It'll make you feel better.
but
Like,
to your point though, dude, they don't, some people don't know what they want. Like, I'm not saying I know exactly everything I want, but I know enough to know what I really don't want, so I'll voice that.
yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's just it's tough.
Here's the thing that I've always hear, like, I have a lot of buddies that go like, hey, Victor, you know a lot of girls. Can you introduce me to them, or can we connect with them? And I go like, bro, first of all, stop looking for girls on the weekend. Why don't you work on yourself? Right? Work on yourself. Right? You want to be a magnet. You want to attract people into your life. You don't need to chase nobody. Right? When the right person comes into your life, you will know. And you will be able to, you'll feel it, you'll know it.
Tell me more about attracting. Tell me more about working on yourself and ultimately, as a result, attracting people. Like, what does that actually look like in real time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people always say that, and I don't really, like, I get it. I get the concept, but for it to happen in the physical, real world, in real time, can you play that out?
Yeah, I'll give you a good example, real life example. And I'll refer to a book first, and the book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Nothing to do with money, nothing to do with wealth. And in chapter number 1, it says you have to have a burning desire. Well, what does that really mean? So September 23rd of 2025, which is, let's call it, what is that, like a couple months ago. I've always believed this, and I've always knew this, that in order for you to change or in order for you to grow, every man and woman must go through a degree of suffering, a degree of pain, a degree of something that will break them for it to build them. I've always believed that. And in order for you to acknowledge that, hey, I'm going through some tough times. In your darkest moments, it's when you start to have this burning desire that I need to be better. I need to be fitter. I need to be wealthier. I need to be more spiritual. I need to be a better communicator. I got to be a better version of myself. So now on September 23rd, I had this, I was not in a good place, right? I was not in a good place. And then I had this burning desire within me that I wanted to be better in every aspect of my life. So now I had a burning desire. Then I had a date. And my date was I took on a challenge called 75 Hard. And I thought in order for me to have a big change in my life, I need to make drastic changes or do something so different than what I've always done. Because if you do what you've always done, you'll get the same results. So I did 75 Hard. And what that basically means is every single day you got to do 2 workouts, 1 outdoor, 1 indoor. Doesn't matter if it's rain, shine, snow, hail, windstorm, tsunami, it don't matter. You got to go outdoor. And as I started doing these outdoor workouts, I'm the only one at 2 or 3 in the morning doing my outdoor workout. What does that do? It builds your self-confidence. It builds your self-belief. It starts to work on your inner game, which I'll talk about in a second. And we've heard this before. If you work on the inner game, the outer game is really, it's easy, right? Everything is really in your subconscious mind. I think I read this study somewhere that 95% of, obviously it's subconscious, like things that you don't think about, like your programming, and 5% is your conscious. So 75 Hard was 2 workouts a day. I had a strict diet. And my diet was quite simple, no carbs after 3. That was my diet. No cheat meals, no alcohol, and I love drinking. Right? I had the glass of wine or something, but no drinking for 75 days. You got to read your goals morning and night, twice a day. What else? You got to drink a gallon of water. So all of these things start to build my identity, right? And long story short, now I'm 25 pounds lighter. My body fat at that time, you saw me before, like 29%. Now I'm at like 17% or whatever it is. So in order for you to attract things into your life, you need to work on your inner game. And there's 4 things that I really believe that you need to work on. The first one is your environment. It's who you hang out with, who you associate yourself with. If you hang out with 5 people that do nothing, they'll convince you to do nothing. If you hang with 5 people that go partying every weekend, you'll probably go partying every weekend. That's not what I wanted. So I started to associate myself with people that thought bigger than me, that had their 5 Fs, right? I was like, okay, I want to kind of emulate what you have. So it's their environment. Then my rituals, which is my daily habits. I made it a non-negotiable that this must be done. If it's in my calendar, it needs to be done. If it's in my calendar to read my goals, I read my goals. If it's in my calendar to eat, I eat, right? So my rituals, that's how extreme I was. Then the third one was my standards. My standards was, what's my standard? What do I want? And I was very crystal clear on what I don't want in my life. And I was very clear on what I wanted in my life. And I think a lot of us, we don't think about these things. Like, what do we actually want and what don't we want? And now I have a list of things I don't want in my life in terms of finance or partnership or whatever. And I have things in my life that I know I'm looking for, right? So my standards. And then my last one is my language. I started to watch what I say. And I think a lot of us, we don't watch what we say, but words are power. There's frequency in our words. I'll give you an example. I have to go to work today. Why don't you change your language to, I get to go to work today? You know how many people are unemployed right now? People are looking for jobs. They're going to the food bank. And you're saying you have to go to work? Or I have to drop off my kids. No, you get to drop off your kids. You know how many people want to have kids? Or people that wish, they could have that opportunity? They don't have that. So watch what you say. So I changed all my words to I hope I get this, to I am going to become this. I am going to attract this. I am going to get this done. Just a matter of time. So when you start to have, when you know what you want in your inner world, the outer world will come. So I've noticed that in the last 75 days, from a time of darkness, from a time of broken times or things where I thought like, oh my gosh, like what I worked so hard for to get broken up like this, then I realized that, man, God is good, right? He put all these challenges in your face so then he can build you up from what broke you. And then I started to embrace all the processes, all the challenges. And then long story short, like honestly, like good times are happening. Like everything that's happening in my life right now, I go like, oh my gosh, I can see it. I have a visual. I know where I'm heading. I know what I want. And it all started with really pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So if you're going through pain and suffering, you just have to be able to be like, how can I turn this pain and suffering into a big purpose, a burning desire? And that's what I would start off with first.
Yeah, man, you've been killing it. I know I've been following you for the past few months, and yeah, you've been doing your thing. And I guess a question on that, during this journey of the 75 days and the continued journey to better yourself and reshape yourself, on the days and the times and the moments where the emotions of before start to take over, where you feel depressed, anxious, or is this really worth it? Am I doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. What's the one piece you fall back on to get you over that? So for example, like when you talk about your environment or your language, what were the other two? Sorry, the rituals, standards. Which one trumps the rest in the sense that you can fall back on this to get you over the emotional? Because logically, you're locked in. You know what you want. Like, you know exactly the standards you want and what you want to attract and where you really don't want to be and where you want to strive for. But then sometimes for a lot of people, for example, like for myself, I can speak on myself, my emotions get the best of me and my logical brain goes out the window. Mm-hmm. How do you bring yourself back to center and get yourself to keep pushing? And I mean, not even necessarily subdue the emotional reaction for whatever, but to keep it at bay and get you back on track. Like, you get what I'm...
Yeah, I think there's two things. There's motivation and there's drive. When you go to an event of any sort, you're motivated, you're inspired, you're high energy, but motivation fades over time. But drive is your identity. It's your standards. It's your non-negotiables. Are there days when I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I go like, oh, it's cold. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm so sore from yesterday. I can't do this. Every freaking day I thought that. Every single day I'm like, I could skip a day. I can restart. I can do it all over again. Why do I work so hard? Is it worth it? But what really helped me stay grounded was at 5:30 in the morning when my alarm rings, my calendar pops up and it says my goals. And I'll read my goals right away. And when I think about my goals, I think about why I'm doing these goals, or why do I want to become a better version of myself. It's because I was sick and tired of where my life was at. I was happy with my financial situation because I do well. I do okay financially. But I wasn't good in every other aspect of my life. I had no faith. I had no fitness. I had no fun. My family was okay, but I didn't have a good relationship per se, or my partnership stuff. So I read my goals, and then to me, it was non-negotiable. It's I run my day by my calendar, not by how I feel. And you will start to see that successful people and high performers, they will do things when they don't feel like it. And that's the biggest differentiator between the average and ordinary and people that are successful. Is successful people will do whatever it takes. What I call it WIT, whatever it takes mentality. and they will push through the pain. You look at athletes. You look at a guy like Kobe Bryant, for example. Think about his mindset. Think about anyone that has accomplished anything great in their life. They had to go through pain. They had to go through adversity. They have to do things when they don't feel like doing things. So I always knew that was a prerequisite for you to be successful. So I didn't make any excuses. I just said, if that's what it takes for me to level up, then I am willing to do whatever it takes for me to level up. And then I had external motivation because when I did 75 hard, everyone doubted me. It's not an easy thing either. And they're like, everyone doubted me. And then when I said high rocks, man, I could not run 5K without stopping. I could barely do 10 push-ups at one point of time. I went to the gym and I'm like, F this, you know, like these guys are all freaking fit. Then I watch all these high rocks dudes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? And then something within me, I said, Victor, everything you want in your life is outside your comfort zone. You need to set big goals. You got to have a target. So immediately that moment, I registered for High Rocks being unprepared, unfit, don't know if I can finish it or not. But then in my mindset is the more you doubt me, let me work twice as hard to prove you wrong. So successful people, they find factors or external factors to get them going. And that becomes an internal drive. My whole office says, hey, we're going to come watch you at High Rocks so we can have our videos and cameras ready to make memes of you.
I saw that. That was fun.
And I was like, you guys are encouraging me or what? And then in my mind, I'm like, there's zero chance I'm going to stop running. There's zero chance I'm going to lay on the ground. There's zero chance I'm going to cramp up. I'm going to prove you wrong, even though all of them love me and everything. But just I use that as external motivation. And then now the Ironman, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something that I never think I could possibly do. Because I really believe that when you want something, there is nothing that can stop you. If you want something, a burning desire, right? You have a burning desire. You know what you want. You have a date. And then what do you need to sacrifice to get there? I know I'm going to sacrifice a lot of going out time because I'm training 2-3 times a day sometimes. But it's going to be worth it because there's another level up. And imagine this. Let's say, Mo, I go like, hey, I did an Ironman training. I run a 7-figure business, right? I work on every aspect of my life. Don't tell me you can't accomplish anything. That's my motivation now is I want to show people that, hey, your capacity, there's so much more within your capacity to do more. And I think you asked me this question. I don't think people are lazy. I think people are comfortable. And the reason why they're comfortable, it's because they don't realize that there's so much more out there that you can accomplish in terms of your finance, in terms of your fitness, in terms of your faith, everything. There's so much more that you can do. And that's where my spiritual journey came to as well. It's when I found Christ, right? I know the exact date, October 23rd. It was such a weird moment. But my ultimate goal is one day when I'm not here, I want to say, when I meet him, I want him to say, hey, you're exactly who I built you up for. I'm so proud of you versus you're not an image of me kind of thing. Right. So man, there's so much internal thought process when I think about all that stuff, but it just motivates me. It drives me every single day to be the best that I possibly can. And I'm so blissfully dissatisfied. I'm constantly blissfully dissatisfied. I'm happy with what I have. I'm content. Like I'm good. But I'm always dissatisfied because I know there's another level. There's something more that I can do.
Right.
Right.
A little piece. No, you're good. A little piece on that. Like you tiptoeing the line of being content and blissfully dissatisfied in your own words. Where is the tipping point where the blissfully dissatisfied loses the blissfully and it becomes dissatisfied and toxic and fuck, I'm a piece of shit or I'm self-pity, self-loathing, criticizing, right? Because it's a very dangerous line, because I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep yourself even keel level. You're not too high, you're not too low. You're always looking for more. You're ambitious. You're trying to expand and everything. But there is a point where the bottle, the glass can completely tip over to the side of complete dissatisfaction and insecurity and self-loathing, very discreetly too. You won't really see it coming. Like, have you flirted with that area at all, and you've caught yourself, holy shit, Victor, like, go back to being blissfully dissatisfied? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one thing I've learned is progress is happiness. And we've heard this before. You got to set big goals. But in order for you to have big goals, you have to have mini goals. And everything that you want in your life is, I had this acronym in my mind. It's called TFAR. Your thoughts lead to your feelings. Your feelings lead to your actions. And your actions lead to your results. So what's the result that I want? Let's say it's a fitness thing. I want to be this shape or run this pace or finish this, whatever. That's my result. What do I need to do to get that result? I got to take certain actions. I got to train like this. I got to, whatever it is, my actions. But in order for me to take action, I need to feel good. You heard this before. You feel good, you do good. You don't feel good, you don't do shit. I got to feel good. But it starts with my thought. My thought process is, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Is it for me to please other people, or is it for me to please myself? So it hasn't happened to me yet, but I know there'll become a point of time where I go like, when is enough enough? And it hasn't hit me yet, but I know how I'm wired. And I hate to say this, but there's a reason why someone making $50,000 a year is very different than someone making half $50,000 a month. They think differently. So if you want to be in a position to make $50,000 a month, you can't think like someone making $50,000 a year. So it's never crossed my mind, but I will have moments where I go like, when is enough enough? And then immediately I'll be like, okay, progress is happiness. What am I progressing towards? Am I the best version that I could possibly be? And I don't think we're ever going to accomplish that, to be the best version that you're always going to want. Like, I always want more. I always know that I can do more. I want to be like, I want to be a provider. I want to be fit. I want to be the go-to person. And I think it comes a time in our lives where you just accept the fact that no one's going to come and no one's going to save you. No one's going to do things for you. You need to do things for yourself. And that's where I'm at in my life right now, where I go like, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If I want to accomplish something, I'm not going to have excuses. I'm going to work extremely hard, and I'm going to do all the things that I say I'm going to do. If I'm not going, if I say it, I'm going to do it. And that's kind of my motto right now is, when I decide on something, I commit to it, or I'll die trying, kind of thing. And I have so many goals in my life that I want to hit, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But ultimately, it's really wrapped around, I want to be a provider. I want to be the go-to person in my family. I want to create generational wealth. I want it to be someone that can give back. I want to be someone that can support others. And just be, I want to be like an inspiration, but I just want people to feel like you can actually have everything in your life. You don't have to pick and choose. But what's your standard? What are you willing to tolerate? What do you want? And who are you doing it for?
And man, I hear everything you're saying, and I totally agree with all of it. And it kind of sucks though, because to get to that point, to where you are now with how you think about things and how you save yourself, no one's going to come save you and do things for you. It sucks to say, but you do sort of need to go through hell and back. Like you do need to hit a rock bottom. Like you said before, like a couple months ago, you were not in a good place, right? So to your expense, to where you are now, I mean, you're growing now. You're in a way better place. You're continuing to strive for things that you want, but to your expense, you did have to go through that rough patch, and it's almost like you got to go through that to be able to think the way you do now. Like, I don't think people can just like get to the point of understanding and comprehending the fact that no one's going to do things for you unless you go through some deep, dark waters, like deep end waters, for you to come out of it and be like, okay. Because that's funny, because I've said this to my friends a few times. I'm like, dude, I don't wish this upon anyone else, but the pain of getting cheated on, I would say, like, going through that, it's such a growing process, it's such a learning process. And it sucks to the core, but when I got cheated on, after that, it's a complete transformation of who I am. But you kind of have to go through the fucking gutter. I'm talking like to the point of, yo, I don't want to live. Like, you know, like,
I can't relate to getting cheated on. Never happened to me. But I know what you mean by you got to go through some dark times. And I don't wish, like you mentioned, I don't wish it upon anyone to go through what you have to go through, or to go through what I needed to go through. But unfortunately, that is part of the process of growing and developing yourself. And it's painful. It's gut-wrenching. It's things that, it sucks. But everything that has ever happened to me in my life that's good has came from dark, from bad. I said this before somewhere. It's like the yin and the yang, the Tai Chi symbol, the black and the white. For there to be love, there has to be hate. For there to be happiness, there has to be sadness. And there's a balance between the two. It's never one or it's never just one. There has to be both. So when you understand that things happen for you, not to you, your life starts to change. Because I thought, like, why is this happening to me? And then I thought to myself, like, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently? What can I pay attention more to? And that's where the whole, the IQ, EQ thing I talk about is, people have high IQ, but you also have to have EQ, which is like your street smart. And you develop your street smarts by going through these experiences, by going through these things. And you start to notice that, man, like, I'm glad it happened. Like, when you think back to when that happened to you, you look back, it sucked whenever that happened. But you think about the person that you become, and the way that you think, and the way that you perceive information, and your perspective of certain things. You're almost like, man, I'm so grateful that happened to me, because I'm not who I used to be. And I don't wish this upon anyone. But if you're going through some tough times, or when things are not adding up and you're at a dark moment and you can't figure it out, just remember that, what can you learn from this? How can you grow from this? And if you just have that perspective in your mind, life will be good.
Yeah, and kind of what you said before, like, I get to drop off my kids. I get to go to work. So even with this, if you can reframe it in a way, I get to go through this pain to come out of it on the other side a completely different person. It's a pretty wild way to think about things. Like, in no shape or form was I ever thinking I get to get cheated on so I can feel this pain and become a better person and be like, 100%. Never that. But like, looking back on it, I'm like, damn, like, in some weird twisted world, I am sort of grateful that happened to me.
Yeah, I hate to say this too, but I'm actually glad it happened to you too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, yeah, it's so twisted, but it's something that's necessary for growth. And you think about anyone that is successful, or even like movie stars or whatever, movies that we've seen in the past. Batman is because his parents died. You know, you think about that. Or you think about whoever you want to, let's think about, like Andrew Tate as an example. Very controversial figure. He just lost in a fight, which it is what it is. But he talks about his upbringing, that he went to jail for something he didn't do. But because he went through that, he just looks at life differently. And everyone's going to go through some tough times in their life. It's what they choose to do with those tough times that really determines really their destiny or where they're going to be heading. And as cliche as it sounds, you know, nothing, you can't plan nothing. You can't control the outcome, but you just let the man upstairs decide, and you just roll with it.
Right. And you know, man, it's one of those, like, everything we've just talked about throughout this whole episode, it's a lot of things that a lot of people have heard already. They've already heard about it. They already know about it. But to really embody it and experience it from point A to the last destination, that's a different story. Like, people can listen to this and be like, all right, well, yeah, okay, I'll go through tough times and I'll get out of it, you know, better, stronger, smarter, whatever. But it's another thing to really fucking go through it yourself. And you know,
well, what I would say is, if you haven't gone through stuff in your life, it could also mean that you haven't done anything in your life. Right? You haven't done anything. You're going to fail in business. You're going to go through a heartbreak. Eventually, I hate to say this, but our parents are not going to be there with us forever. And you only learn things the hard way. Think about, like, for guys, the only time we stop driving slower is when we get into a car accident or we get pulled over. And we're like, oh shit, I'll stop driving fast. We learn things the hard way. And even though you may hear from this podcast, like, okay, well, that's conceptually how it sounds like, or whatever, you just always have to remember that you need to have some clarity of what you want. And if you work towards your goals, nothing will ever be a straight line. There is never like a straight line to success. No, there's going to be some ups and downs. You're going to get kicked in the face. You're going to get punched in the nuts. People are going to say no to you. You're going to get ghosted. But when those things happen, you just have to remind yourself that I am progressing. I am moving forward. I'm getting better. I'm being more efficient. And that's why when people say, Victor, is it more important to work smarter than harder? Or what's more important? And I go like, what do you think? And they always say, I'd rather work smarter. I'm like, no, you need to fucking work harder. You got to work harder and smarter at the same time. Who the heck says you work less to get more? No, you do both. No one is in a position, none of us are in a position to work smarter and not harder. You got to do both. Right? So stop trying to like sugarcoat things or like explain why you're not where you're at. And I've always people that I mentor, I always go like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And the reason I say that is because you are where you're at is because of the decisions and choices you made in the past. The moment you stop pointing fingers at something else or somebody else and you take full ownership of where you are at in your life, and you self-reflect and you diagnose and then you're willing to pivot and change, your life will change. So when you point your finger at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, would I follow you? Does this person deserve to be successful? Does this person deserve to have everything in his life? And if the answer is like, no, I wouldn't follow you, then that gives you all the answers that you need. If I put a GoPro on your head and it followed you for a week, would I be like, wow, this guy is living the life that I want to live, or this guy is congruent with what he wants, right? Because I've always been a big believer of if you want certain things in your life, you got to be congruent with your actions, or it's never going to happen. How many times have you heard a guy go like, oh, I'm going to be fit? Never fucking happens. Oh, I'm gonna. Here's the thing that's gonna be really interesting. Now that we're at what, December 20 whatever 8th, the next 5, 6, 7 days, you're gonna see all these reels, and they're gonna say, what does it say? 2025, and then they play the highlight reels. 2024, 2020, whatever, right? Here's the thing that most people don't understand. There'll be times in your life or in seasons in your life where you're winning and you're losing. What do you learn more from? You learn more from the losses. But you have to know why you win and why you lose. And when you lose at something, quote unquote, it's what can you learn from it? And yeah, man, 2025 was an interesting year. It was one of the hardest years of my life from a business standpoint, relationship standpoint, just life standpoint. But when I look back, the last 90 days, I'm so grateful. It sucks to say, I'm so grateful that those things have happened to me, because I'm no longer the same person as I was 90 days ago.
Yeah, man. And how, in a lack of a better term, I mean, I don't know if there is a term to explain this, but how boring would life be if you didn't go through shit? You know what I mean? Like, as you were talking about, I'm like, how boring and mundane and gray would life be if a girl didn't ghost me, or if I didn't get cheated on, or I didn't lose my job, or I didn't go through some shit. You know what I mean? Like, of course, again, I don't wish that upon anyone. You know, I don't want that. It's a terrible feeling all in all. But how just, you wouldn't be human. Like, it just wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be exciting. The thrill of bouncing back from that wouldn't even be.
I've always said the greater the setback, the greater the comeback. But the biggest challenge that I see with people that do go through some adversity is...
And again, yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of bad things that happen to people that are really, they'll beat them to their knees. Like, I'm talking like some serious bad shit. And like, in like the work that I'm doing, I see that. So I understand the pain and the things that people have to put up with. And so...
Yeah, I think it's so important that when you are going through these times, you have a good circle of people that you can rely on. And that could be seeking help, or, you know, getting together with the guys, or people that love and care about you, that are neutral, that are just there to listen to you. And that is a resource that you can go towards. But ultimately, you need to figure it out sometimes on your own. You just sit in a dark place and just start thinking about what you think about. And, you know, like, when I went through that process, it was not easy. Very few times in my life would I say, like, man, this is tough. Like, I've been so successful in so many different things, but this was tough to get by. But as I sat there and I started to self-reflect, I've always been like, okay, like, this is not the end of my story, right? A setback leads to a great comeback. And it's not the time on the mat that matters, it's the time off the mat that matters. And what doesn't beat you down will build you up. So I've always told myself and reminded myself that I hate to say this word, but I can't be selfish. There's more for me to give. There's people that depend on me. I want to do more, right? I'm not gonna settle. I'm gonna be better. And maybe it's just the way that I think, or the way that I was raised. I looked at my parents as an example. You know, we were always taught as a young age, as a guy, a boy, don't show your emotions, don't cry, get up. Life is supposed to be hard. You're a boy. Get up. You're not a girl, you know, like those kind of things. And I reminded myself that this is happening for me, right? So I just keep reminding myself that I can learn something from this. And we've heard this quote before, that God doesn't give you all these challenges to break you. He puts these challenges in your face to build you because he wants to see you become a
To
better
the strongest
version.
soldiers.
The strongest soldiers get the biggest challenges, the biggest battles. So that's a mindset that I have. But I know that when you deal with a lot of people, it's sometimes they don't think like that because they can't think for themselves because they're so emotionally wrecked.
Which is totally justified based on the
Correct.
things that they've been through. Like,
Yes.
my God, you know, at such a young age too, right? Like,
And that's why it's really interesting you say that is when you are going through some tough times and you can't think and act on your own, the worst thing that you can do is do nothing. Is do nothing.
yeah,
If you got to move your body, you got to go out with friends, you got to go seek help. You got to do something out of the ordinary or what you want to do because it's not going to help.
right.
So I remember when that happened is I started to work out. I'm so glad I did, right? The gym really saved me. I started to work on my faith. That really helped me, right? All these things, I started to connect with people. I started to open up more than I ever had before. It's because I just wasn't happy with where I was. And then I know people I can depend on. Like now that I know your story and your upbringing and your background is, if I need someone to call up or a buddy to go grab a beer with, I'll call you up and be like, hey, bro, I need to vent some stuff out to you.
Yeah.
And I know you don't judge, right? It's because we see each other. And that's why you have to have a good circle of friends, a community that loves you, that wants more of you. And I've always said that your friends, here's the difference between friends. There are what I call great friends and friends that are friends. What I mean by that, it's the friends that tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. They're not really your friends. It's because they're trying to justify your actions. They're trying to justify who you are. They're just trying to keep you comfortable. I want somebody to tell me straight up, like, I fucked up. I want somebody to tell me like, hey, I know you're going through some tough times, but this is what you can do better. I want someone to kind of push me and motivate me and don't babysit me kind of thing, right? So
Don't bullshit me.
yeah.
Just spare me the bullshit, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just wish someone told me straight up, like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, you have so much God-given talent. You're so gifted. You have, like, you can accomplish anything in your life. What can I do to help you? What can I do to move you forward? What can I do to get you back on your feet?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I have people in my life that did that for me. And, everyone needs that circle.
Yeah. No. It's funny. I don't want to speak on myself too much, but I was talking to someone recently about it. I grew up with like a single mom. I never met my biological dad, and so a lot of the things that I feel like I missed out on, because my mom did a great job of like playing both roles, but of course at the end of the day she's still my mom and not a male dad figure. So I feel like I missed out on a lot of moments in my life where I needed a dad to be stern with me and just give me the biz, how it is. Like if I was upset about something or if I was heartbroken over some girl or whatever, I needed someone, a older male figure, to be like, yo, shut the fuck up, put your bootstraps on, and just get your head up and go. Like, stop it. Like, I wish, I mean, I imagine how that could be toxic in some ways where, there needs to be a little bit more empathy and compassion. But I think I got so much out of that from my mom. I needed the yang of, yo, I've heard enough of your bullshit. Get the fuck up and forget about it. Like, just instill fear in me at least to like get over it. I mean, I don't know if that's the healthiest way to do it, but sometimes I do think about that. I'm like, damn, I did miss out on that aspect of someone giving me, hand on their hip, pointing at me, like, look, yo, I'm done with you. Stop talking about it. If you talk about it one more time, you're getting a fucking backhand right to the dome. Like, maybe I needed that. Maybe if I had that when I was a younger kid, maybe I did get the biz a few times, I wouldn't be so stuck up and heartbroken and just an emotional mess after someone doesn't, give me the attention I need. Maybe I needed that, right? Like, I don't know. But that's just something, it's interesting that you...
Yeah. I have so much respect for single parents. And the reason why I say that is because you got to put on two hats. The mom or the dad and the mom, or the father or the mother or the woman, the man, the male and the female. The dynamics of your mom being able to raise you the way that what her values are and what she had to go through. And I always think about from your story is, what was your mom thinking about when she was raising you? And in their mind, they always go like, did I put my son or my daughter in the best position for them to grow up to be successful? And to be very honest, although you wish you had a father figure or a male figure, she did a good job.
Yeah.
You think about like how much mom had to sacrifice for us, and our parents had to sacrifice for. That's why I've always said we are the biggest burden to our parents, because she's probably thinking about what you're going through. She's probably thinking like, I hope he's good. I hope he finds love. I hope he is successful and accomplishes. So everything happens for a reason. And that's the reason why you are the way that you are. And that is the why your gifts are your ability to reflect. And now you can go help others understand their trauma and their heartbreaks and their adversities, is because I wouldn't be very good at your role, from that standpoint. But you're good at it. And that's where mom plays a huge role. And, they always say your mother, your mom, out of everyone that they've seen every stage of our lives, from the time that we were born to what we did when we were growing up, to the heartbreaks, to the setbacks, to the wins, to the losses. And they've seen every side of us. And they're our number one fans. They are our number one fans. And, obviously I have a dad, and I know from his mindset is his biggest goal is to see me become more successful than him. Like that's how guys, like that's how I would think. If I had a son or daughter, I wish my son and daughter would be more successful than I've ever could be. Right? So
Yeah.
it's talking about parents are always hard, mom or dads.
I know, man.
Gets me wrecked.
It's tough. I mean, there's so many different parts to it. I kind of want to pivot into something that I've started to notice as I've gotten older, man, and just being in like professional settings and even social settings. I think, and I don't know if you can relate to this or if you have any thoughts on this, but I think regardless of business, romantic relationships, networking, just casual conversation, I think being able to communicate and holding some sort of conversation can get you 90% of anything you want. Like literally just being able to hold a conversation, carry a conversation for a few minutes and slightly going deeper than surface level in conversation can get you a lot of things. That's sort of something I've been noticing, like being able to talk, being able to converse, and I'm not even talking about being the most charismatic and, the interesting guy in the room, having the gift of gab, but just being a little interesting. I think, bro, it takes you a long way. I'm starting to really feel that, even like in dating. Like it's just, again, the bar is so low in dating when you can carry a conversation for a little bit longer than 5 minutes. Girls are like, whoa, like this guy's so cool. This guy's interesting. I'm like, I'm not, but I'm just thinking to myself, I didn't really say anything. It's not like I was like fucking cracking jokes and,
Yeah, no, I think when you say that is you have substance and you have content. And the reason why you have substance and content is because you've been through stuff. You've seen stuff. You've done stuff. And if you're struggling with communication per se, and I struggle with communication, it's because I always hold my feelings within. Asian culture and stoicism. I just like, you just don't share your struggles. I never speak my struggles. I never speak my hardship kind of stuff. And I was raised like that from my dad, right? So I never know when he's not feeling good. I never know when he's struggling. I don't know because he never spoke of it. So I just thought growing up, that's what guys do, right? We just bottle it up. But back to your what communication is. Communication is very key. And there's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And they talk about everything you're in your life is either you're persuaded to do something or you're influenced to do something. And it could be good or bad. And if you can work on your communication, and if you know how to effectively listen, and you're attentive, and you can respond, you can get a lot of things in your life, from negotiations to sales to marketing to social media. Like, communication is very key.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important.
You know? Yeah. I just having a conversation, and it doesn't particularly need to be some sort of deep rooted thing where I start talking about my history and my traumas. It's really just being able to have a better tone, having different tonalities, not being mundane, not being monotone. Like, dude, I'm telling you, a lot of people struggle with that, and it's fucking wild. It's just like being able to like have some sort of like ability to ask the right question after someone speaks, or knowing when to cut someone off and have your 2 cents in. Like, that in itself is like considered so cool. You don't need to have a fucking play on words or a soliloquy ready. And it's wild. That's something I've noticed. Like, a lot of the times, it's funny because my coworker always she always makes fun of me. She's like, yeah, you're a personality hire, Mo. Yeah, like in terms of like the admin and the technical things, I'm not like so into. I know what I'm doing. I can do the bare minimum, but she's always like, yeah, you're a personality hire. She's joking though. I know she knows I can do more, but if you can just like connect with people and just sort of be a chameleon with others, and I think you can get a lot of shit, man. I think, especially in business, right? Like, you can.
Everything in my life that I have is because of the relationships that I've built. And the relationships that you build, it's really through effective communication, knowing what you want, being clear of what you want, being transparent with what you want, and then delivering on your promises. And the best example, or the best way to be a more effective communicator, is just to get out of your comfort zone. Go out there, go meet some people, go to networking events, go to meetup groups, talk to a stranger, say hi at the mall, whatever it is, strike up a conversation. And what you'll find is people that are lousy communicators is because they have this fear of rejection. And the reason why they have the fear of rejection is because they might have asked a girl out once and they said no. And then in their mind, they're like, oh my gosh, like that was so painful. And they stop doing it. And I go like, dude, like, you got to do more of it. The things that you don't want to do are the things that you want to do. So every time I go to, so here's a rule of mine. Whenever I spend money, I'm always prospecting. What do I mean by prospecting? I just want to get to know the person. Maybe I can help them in terms of my line of work, which is financial services. Maybe they might be a great fit in terms of someone I might want to hire or train or develop in my industry. Or maybe I just want to get to know the person. And I genuinely care about people. I've never looked at how much money they make or car they drive. I just like to meet people, hear their story, and I say, make a friend, solve a problem. Make a friend, solve a problem. And if they want to tell me to F off, then okay, they're having a bad day. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't reflect me, right? I just continue to do my thing, right? So I don't get bothered by rejections anymore. I did before. Say, what the heck? Like, what am I doing wrong? But over time, I just became more attentive. And then the more you talk to people, you can kind of sense if there's someone that you would want to vibe with, someone that has that same frequency as you, someone that you would want to hang out with, right? And there's some people that you don't. And that's fine too. It's all good, right? So.
And you'd be surprised how many people want to talk about themselves. Like, you ask them one little question, like, oh, what do you like about it? your job. Blah, blah, blah. They'll just go on. And then you just sit back, wait for a moment to reflect what they just said. Because when you reflect too, oh yeah, so like, you know, it's one of those things where it's the only last option you had to get the job, so you kind of stuck here. Yeah, you know, like I don't, you know, it's a part of like therapy. It's in a way, not to completely say entirely a manipulation tactic, but it is like you just sit back, a simple reflection of what they just rambled on about for 2 minutes, a one-liner. That'll get them. That'll open up another. Oh well, yeah. It's like you know,
no, I know what you
it's
mean.
interesting being in the field of therapy and how people operate and how they like navigate through like their own shit in their mind. There's a lot of things going up in here, so they just want to verbal diarrhea everything out. And if you ask them the right things, if you give them the right little prompts, they're 100%. Going for broke.
Yeah, like in my line of work, sales, people go like, oh, you're in sales. I'm like, yes and no, but everything is sales. And I've always said that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. And if you say it, you own it. If they say it, they own it. And what I find with very highly effective, successful people, they don't talk a lot, but they ask great questions. And they take your questions, and now they find different hot buttons. And they probe and probe and probe and probe, and because they want to layer and find out more information. If you struggle with developing meaningful or genuine relationships with people, it's because either A, you're talking too much, or B, you're not asking the right questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of our questions. So if you want to build deeper and more meaningful relationships, learn how to ask good questions. Don't make it all about you. Make it all about them. And just like what you're doing is you're asking great questions to get me to think. And I go like, oh, okay, that's a great question, right? And I tell you what I think, right? So.
Yeah. One last thing, man.
Sure.
I want to talk about this, and I told you because you're wearing the hat, bro, the Blue Jays hat. Okay, this is gonna be. A lot of people are gonna hate on me for this, and they're gonna have some opinions on it. You probably will too, because you're wearing the hat, bro. Can we please get rid of the fact that we need to support a team because they're fucking Canadian? It's such a casual take.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's such a you are such a casual if you just support a team because they're Canadian. Like during the whole Blue Jays run, people were like, "Oh, dude, are you watching the Blue Jays? Are you like look at this crazy run they're going on? Oh my god, well, how about them Blue Jays?" I'm like, "Yeah, so all right." Like I'm not a First of all, I'm not a baseball fan, so that's already like, okay, cool, like baseball, whatever. But the fact that you think I need to, like, you're expecting me to support the Blue Jays because they're Canadian, grab a compass and take a hike, bro. That's such an ass. Funny. That's such a basic ass like way to think about things with supporting a team. Like you're such a simpleton, in my opinion. Like, bro, first of all, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. Like when the Raptors made the finals in 2019, I'm a big basketball guy, okay? So I can speak on this. I was never a Raptors fan. I always thought they were cringy. They never had a cool team. They never
Carter.
Well, yeah, Vince Carter. Like I was always a Lakers fan. I was a Kobe guy growing up. So anything beyond that, I was just completely blind to it. But after Vince, let's just say after Vince Carter, and Andrea Bargnani, Jose Calderon, Jamario Moon, TJ Ford,
DeRozan,
even DeRozan, but during the time when they were absolute dog shit, they weren't cool. They were kind of cringy. They were ass. Like they weren't that many cool players. Yeah. So I was never a Raptors fan. So when the Raptors made the finals in 2019, everyone in Vancouver was like, "Yo, like the Raptors, hell yeah!" Okay, first of all, geographically, it would have made more sense if we supported the Warriors because they're West Coast. Right? And me, personally, I love Steph Curry. I think he's top 3 all time. That guy, I am on his nuts. I glaze him like no other. So for me, I have a connection to the Warriors in the form of Steph Curry. There's nothing about Toronto that makes me gravitate to the Raptors. Other than the fact they're in Canada, like get the fuck out. Dude, it's not Canada Raptors.
Yeah.
It's not Canada Blue Jays.
Yeah.
It's Toronto Blue Jays. And you think people in Toronto are looking at like Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary or whatever and thinking, oh yeah, hell yeah, we're Canada's team. No, people in Toronto think this is our team. Yeah. Fuck everyone else. Fuck Vancouver, Calgary, Nova Scotia, whatever. This is Toronto Raptors. This is Toronto Blue Jays. You know what I mean? Like it's such a... And then why didn't we have the same energy when the Edmonton Oilers went into the finals with the Panthers? Why wasn't everyone on the Oilers bandwagon? Yeah. Why didn't I see the same support? Like, why are we picking and choosing who we support? And then just because Blue Jays are the only Canadian team in Canada, oh, so you're telling me if the Maple Leafs made the finals in the Stanley Cup, we would be on the bandwagon? No, everyone hates the everyone hates the Maple Leafs. Yeah, dude, that shit. Like I have a more of a connection to LA than I do Toronto, honestly. Yeah. Just because we're in Canada, like we're north side of things. Toronto doesn't look at us and be like, oh yeah, like, oh my God, look at this all the support we're getting from Canada. No, they'll claim it. Even us, like if we had a baseball team, if we only had the baseball team here that was Canadian, yo, this is Vancouver. Okay, cool. Thanks Toronto for supporting us. Great. We love the cheers, but like, I don't know, bro. I think that's such a casual take. Like people just expecting everyone else in the city to just cheer for the Blue Jays. No, I like Shohei Ohtani. He's a GOAT.
Oh, he's so good. It's funny you said that because when I got up, number one is I'm from Toronto.
Okay, so there you go. Like you have the right to be a Toronto fan, man, right? Like if you lived in Toronto, if you've been a Toronto fan since a young age for whatever reason, then yeah, you have the
What's funny because I woke up this morning and then I have so many hats in my home, and I've been rocking my LA Dodgers hat because I actually love the team. Like I love Ohtani. I think like back to back, I've been wearing this LA Dodgers hat this whole time, and then I was like, I'm gonna change it up a bit because I'm just gonna wear my Blue Jays hat, right? So whatever. But no, I know what you're saying is it's so true that people just expect you to be Blue Jays fan or whatever because they have no substance. That's all.
It's just basic to me, man. Like I'm not saying I don't understand why people were cheering for the Blue Jays, Canada versus the US. Yeah. Cool, but it's for you to just automatically assume that I'm going to be a Blue Jays fan because I live in Canada is such bullcrap. Like what if I love LA? What if that's my favorite city in the world? I love Kobe Bryant. Yeah. I grew up with Kobe Bryant. He was a Dodgers fan. That's more of a reason for me personally, I think in my head, that's a bigger reason for me to be a Dodgers fan than a Toronto fan. Because
but you're also, what I would say, you're not the masses. You're not the norm. You see, most people, the reason why they jump on a bandwagon is because they want to feel like they fit into something. They want to be a part of something. And I think for you and I don't care what you want. I don't care what you think about me. All right, we can go on about vaccines. We can go on about Trump or Biden or Trudeau and whatever. I don't care what you think, kind of thing. Because I know what I want and I'm good with it. So some people, they just need to feel like they're validated. They want to feel like they're a part of something. Right. They want to be part of the masses, or they don't want to be the exception. But if you want to be exceptional in your life, you got to be an exception, right? So
that's what I mean.
Like,
yeah. And like, if the reason behind me supporting the Blue Jays being Canadian was a strong enough reason for me, I would. But that to me is not good enough. Like nothing about that. Like when I look at the Blue Jays roster, I don't know anyone on there. Well, Vladdy, sure, but like I'm not a baseball fan, so it's really like okay, like what's Shohei's cool as hell. He's one of like so the nicest superstars of all time.
So humble, everything about him. Yeah,
it's L.A. Lakers, Kobe. Going back to back, like there's so many more storylines for me to be connected to the Dodgers than it is Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, Canadian. Like, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some hate for this, but like whatever. I don't really.
Let me ask you a question. I know it's your podcast, but
No, you can ask. Yeah.
it's a basketball question.
Yeah.
LeBron or MJ? Who is the GOAT and why?
Kobe.
Kobe's your GOAT. Okay. So why is Kobe the GOAT over MJ or LeBron? In your eyes.
Well, to be completely biased and honest, I wasn't old enough. I wasn't born during MJ's time.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't old enough to see him throughout his career and his impact. I can only see it through what people have said and through history and videos and historical clips and documentaries, but I never lived during that time. There was no impact
How it affected you.
on me directly through MJ. I understand what he is and what he did for the sport and how much of a maniac he was, and I respect all of it, but Kobe for me was the reason why I started playing basketball. I looked up to his mentality. I've had so many memories with Kobe and the Lakers that will last me a lifetime. So many fond memories, man. Like meeting him in person twice at his camp, getting a photo with him, shaping the way I think about things. Like, as corny as it sounds, like kind of being like my male role model in life, right? Like,
yeah, he's such a good guy.
Such a fucking demon. Will rip anyone, and that's why it's such a shame when he passed away. It wasn't because of like what he did on the basketball court. That's great, but like how much more he had to offer wisdom wise. And so how much he had to offer with his intellect and his intuition. Like that's what we missed out on. That's what we got robbed of with Kobe.
Okay, flip question. You have the number 1 draft pick. You can select Curry, Kobe, or LeBron.
Wow.
You're gonna get hate regardless.
I love all three. This is not a easy.
You got 1 draft pick.
LeBron, of course.
LeBron over Curry and Kobe.
I love me some Steph Curry though, bro. Oh my God, that guy is. He is. God really has his favorites, bro. Let me tell you. When you look at Steph Curry, I'm just like, okay, God took his time with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in terms of skill wise and just basketball longevity, I am man enough and honest enough to say that I can put him above Kobe in terms of like what he's done on the basketball court. I think so. But again, to me, there's more like for a GOAT status, there's more to me than basketball than just like doing what you did on the court. Of course, that's a huge part of it. But for me, Kobe, man, was like, he's, you know, anything I go through now, I always think like, what would Kobe do? Like the mama mentality, right? Like what would, because he went through some shit too. Like let's not forget, like he had a rape allegation.
Yeah.
There was some sexual misconduct, right? Like he had to endure all of that.
And play ball.
And
he was injured, ripped his Achilles, still shot his free throws.
Yeah.
Came back.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, man. How about you? Who's your guy?
Those three?
I mean, just in general, I don't really.
It wouldn't be LeBron. It'll be Kobe or Curry.
Kobe or Curry, yeah.
Not because of from basketball, just pure basketball standpoint, just what they've done for the game, the way that they are as a person. how they treat their teammates, their family, someone that I would want to like a role model kind of thing. Like the Mamba mentality. I think about the story where he goes like, I come home after a game, I'm tired, but my kids don't know I'm tired. Or I'm injured, but I still go play Vince Carter. Well, the fans don't know I'm injured. It's not fair to them or fair to my kids. I think about that mentality. I go like, holy smokes, like your work ethics, it's beyond imaginable. But that's what it takes for you to be great. And he knew he had flaws in his game. He knew he couldn't palm the ball. He knew he wasn't the highest vertical. He wasn't the fastest. But everything that was against him, he just worked so much harder to overcompensate that. And that's the Mamba mentality that they call it. And that's something that I live by too. It's like, if I'm not good at something, I'll work twice as hard to get better at it, right? And I'll work on it, and I'll work on it, and I'll work on it. That's where I learned from Kobe. So
yeah, man.
Those two.
And another thing, with Kobe and like Michael, especially from his documentary, The Last Dance, one thing I found out about Michael especially was like he would try to like when times where he was just kind of like chilling and wasn't that like motivated, he would like seek out people hating. He would seek out the shit talkers just to get him going. Like, how fucking crazy do you have to be like, yo, I want you to like say I'm not good anymore, or I'm like, it's kind of demonic, man. Like, I want people to be like, yo, your podcast sucks, like your ass, like you don't even know what you're doing. It's like, okay, nice, give me more of that. I like that.
Yeah, no, that turns me on.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when people talk shit, I'll go like, dude, what did you accomplish in your life? You're just a fucking internet keyboard guy. I don't know who the hell you are, right? Like, okay, just keep yapping and I'll keep winning.
Shit, easy work, man. Hour 26. You got anything else? I'm good, man. That was fantastic. That was really good. That was
Who is he?
I think that was much better.